We don't take medical advice from black cleaning ladies. Dr. Moore says it straight to Naomi Turner's face, without a blink, without lowering his voice. The Johns Hopkins physician, standing tall and polished inside Charles Anderson's Manhattan penthouse, lets those words echo against the marble and glass like judgment. Naomi, 61, Jamaican immigrant, night shift nanny, earns $20 an hour and never corrects anyone when they mistake her for housekeeping. Tonight, she just suggested the therapy angle might be wrong. That's all it took. Now she stands silent as the insult lands. 4-year-old Sophia screams again from the therapy room, same as every session. Dr. Moore just told billionaire Charles Anderson that both his twin daughters will never walk. Arthrogryposis, he says. Joints frozen. Irreversible. Charles doesn't argue, doesn't blink, just stares at the floor. 14 doctors in 4 years. $5.4 million spent. Every one of them said the same thing. Impossible. But what nobody knows is that every night after the house goes dark, Naomi Turner unlocks her secret, breaking into the sealed rooftop pool. The one that's been closed since tragedy struck. And tomorrow morning, Charles Anderson will see the security footage. He'll see his black nanny doing something unthinkable to his paralyzed daughters in the water, something that will either send her to prison for life or prove every single one of those doctors dead wrong. Charles Anderson built his fortune solving impossible problems. Anderson Pharmaceuticals, 18 patents, $8 billion. He turned experimental compounds into miracle drugs, saving thousands of lives and buying himself a god's reputation. But for all his genius, he can't heal his own children. Every morning at 6 a.m., he sits in his corner office, staring at the wall of medical reports. 14 specialists, 14 verdicts, Johns Hopkins, Mayo Clinic, Boston Children's, Columbia, 2,834 pages, and every page says the same thing. Arthrogryposis, multiplex congenita, joints frozen since birth, muscles crystallizing, window for intervention closed at 18 months. The twins are 4 now, too late, irreversible, never walk, 5.4 million spent, gene therapy, experimental surgeries, hyperbaric oxygen, stem cells from Switzerland. Nothing worked. Last week's MRI, Dr. Rebecca Williams from Johns Hopkins used the word irreversible 4 times in 2 pages, 8 to 12 months before full paralysis. Olivia's hip already rotating inward 15 degrees, worsening every week. Charles asked quietly, "Is there anything else we can try?" Dr. Williams just looked at him, pity in her eyes, sympathy wrapped in resignation. "At some point," she said, "you have to stop trying to cure them and start accepting them." 3 days have passed since that meeting. Charles hasn't slept. His wife, Victoria, died 18 months ago, found floating in the rooftop pool at 11:18 p.m. The report called it accidental drowning. But Charles knows she dove in fully clothed, desperate, trying one last therapy she'd read about. He'd called it pseudoscience. They'd fought. She died, proving she might have been right. He locked the pool the next day, moved his bedroom to the opposite side of the penthouse. He can't stand the sight of those glass doors. Now, his in-laws are circling. Filed for emergency custody 9 weeks ago, claiming he's obsessed with curing instead of caring. They want the twins institutionalized. Custody hearing in 4 weeks. Margaret Wilson runs the household with military precision. 15 years as head housekeeper, every routine clockwork. Everyone has their place. Naomi Turner joined 8 weeks ago, night shift nanny. Most people avoid overnight hours, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., alone with sick children. But Naomi applied specifically for that shift. Jamaican immigrant, 61, clean background check, $20 an hour. Charles barely knows her. Maybe 10 minutes of overlap during evening changeover at 6 p.m. She stands in the corner during consultations, never speaks unless spoken to. Margaret says she's reliable, quiet, invisible. That's all Charles knows about the woman who spends more time with his daughters than he does. What he doesn't know, Naomi Turner lives in a cramped Bronx studio, 90-minute subway commute. Shares a pull-out couch with her 8-year-old granddaughter, Destiny. Works nights for the extra $2 an hour, $840 a month for Destiny's asthma medication. Once, Naomi was someone else. Founder of Healing Waters Therapy Center in Montego Bay. 3 small rooms by the sea, 40 to 60 patients monthly, pediatric neuromuscular care. 73% success rate over 5 years, until the day everything drowned. August 14th, 2008, 2:30 p.m. Naomi was treating 6-year-old Timothy Williams in the ocean. Cerebral palsy, couldn't swim. A wave struck out of nowhere. The children screamed. The tide pulled. Naomi had seconds to decide, let go of Timothy and save her own daughter nearby, or hold him and trust others to help her child. She held on to Timothy. He lived. Her daughter didn't. 4 minutes underwater. Too long. The medical board investigated. Timothy's parents filed a complaint, said Naomi chose their son over her own. The Caribbean Physical Therapy Association voted 3-2 to revoke her license. Officially, failure to maintain safe practice standards. Unofficially, she saved the wrong child. The clinic closed. Her husband died of cancer 2 years later. In 2011, Naomi came to the United States with her granddaughter Destiny, her daughter's child. Destiny's father had died in a fishing accident the year before. Naomi worked anywhere that would take her. Home health aide, janitor, elder care assistant, nanny. Never disclosed her medical background. Kept her notebooks hidden, 124 pages of therapy protocols, her grandmother's sea-based methods. Carries an old photograph in her pocket. Her daughter at 8, yellow swimsuit, gap-toothed smile, sunlight on her face. Naomi doesn't look at daylight photos anymore. She prefers the night. Darkness feels safer. Shadows don't remind her of what she lost. 9 weeks ago, she read an article about the Anderson twins. She recognized the symptoms immediately. The same rare stiffness, the same pain. She had treated 5 children with arthrogryposis in Jamaica. 3 of them walked again. She applied the next day. Because Naomi Turner didn't come here for a paycheck, she came with a plan. And Charles Anderson, genius billionaire, grieving husband, broken father, has no idea that the woman folding his daughter's blankets at midnight owns his nights. Margaret Wilson made it clear on day 1, night staff don't give opinions. You change diapers, monitor vitals, log entries. You don't speak to Mr. Anderson unless he speaks first. You don't discuss medical matters. Ever. But Naomi Turner has already decided. The rules don't matter. Not anymore. 15 years Margaret Wilson has run this penthouse. She knows her place and expects everyone else to know theirs. Her rules are quiet, but iron. Naomi nods, says nothing, as always. The penthouse is a fortress. 43 security cameras watching every inch, 6 in the living room, 8 in the hallways, 12 in the medical wing, 4 in bedrooms, 3 in the kitchen, 2 in the garage, 3 by the pool, and 6 guarding the rooftop. No corner left unseen. Thomas Brown, head of security, former NYPD, made sure of it. During orientation, he'd said, "Mr. Anderson reviews random footage every morning, keeps everyone honest." It was meant as warning. Naomi heard it as challenge. Her room, a tight 120 square feet, shared bathroom, camera just outside in the corridor. The first week, she studies the rhythms of surveillance like scripture. Cameras rotate every 18 seconds. 3-second blind gap during angle switch. Not much, but enough for someone who's patient. She watches evening therapy sessions from afar, 4 to 6 p.m. Dr. James Moore, same one who insulted her, works the twins 3 times a week. Naomi watches his hands, his angles, his arrogance. Wrong angles. 45 degrees instead of 30. That's why Sophia screams. That's why her hip keeps twisting inward. 6 weeks, she observes, silent. Every cry drills into her chest. Week 6, medical consultation. Naomi stands in her corner, invisible as wallpaper. Dr. Moore explains why the treatments aren't working. Sophia lies on the therapy table, crying softly. Her right hip, 15 degrees inward now, was 12 last month. Naomi watches him position the child's leg again. Wrong, painful, careless. She finally speaks, quietly, respectfully. "Excuse me, maybe if the angle was—" "We don't take medical advice from black cleaning ladies." Dr. Moore doesn't even look up, keeps working. Charles says nothing. Margaret's eyes flash like knives, a silent command. Stay silent. Naomi obeys. Doesn't speak again that session. That night, in her small room with the city humming 42 floors below, she makes her decision. 6 weeks watching children suffer while she knows the truth, knows how to fix it. No one listens because she's black, old, immigrant, working class, invisible. The most unseen person in this entire house. She can either watch these girls deteriorate while her knowledge rots inside her, or do something about it. The second option is illegal. Practicing medicine without a license, classy felony, prison for years. But she's already lost everything. Her daughter, her husband, her country, her name. What's one more thing? Night 43. She makes her move. 6 p.m. staff meeting. Margaret sets her heavy keyring on the table during the schedule review. Naomi waits, calm, eyes lowered. When Margaret turns to the whiteboard, Naomi's hand slips. Keyring disappears into her pocket. 14 minutes later, when Margaret answers a call, Naomi quietly returns it. But before she does, she presses the pool master key into a bar of soap, then into candle wax, makes her mold. That night in her Bronx apartment, she orders a key blank online, $8.50, 2-day delivery. She spends those 2 days memorizing everything. Rooftop cameras rotate every 18 seconds, blind gap during switching. She'll have 2.88 seconds to enter the pool unseen. She learns Charles's routine too. Sleeping pills, doctor prescribed. Usually asleep by 11:30 p.m., Thursday night. Week 7, 11:38 p.m. Naomi begins. She opens the twins' bedroom door. Sophia's asleep. Olivia in the next room. Naomi lifts Sophia carefully. 31 pounds. Child barely stirs. Every step measured. Every breath counted. 48 seconds to rooftop. She listens for movement. None. The rooftop door glows with its electronic keypad. 6-digit code. She watched Thomas Brown punch it in during maintenance rounds. Memorized it in 3 days. Door opens silently. The pool glows in darkness. City lights dance on the water's surface. A mirror of Manhattan itself. Temperature gauge reads 94 degrees. System automatic. Naomi's hands shake. She hasn't been near water since August 14th, 2008, since her daughter drowned while she held another child, since bright sunlight burned her guilt into memory. Now she works in darkness, safer. Shadows hide what she cannot face. She lowers Sophia into the pool slowly, 6 inches every 10 seconds. The child's eyes open, wide and frightened. "I've got you," Naomi whispers. "Me in the water. We've got you. You're safe." They re her grandmother's words, the same ones she used on 60 children in Jamaica, the same ones she whispered to Timothy Williams while her own daughter died. Water matches body temperature. Sophia's muscles relax almost instantly. Naomi positions her on her back, arms extended 45 degrees, floating, head supported, spine aligned. In 2-3, out 2-3, she murmurs, breath syncing with movement. Micro motions begin, hips rotating in 5-degree increments, 8-second intervals. Water gives 12 times more resistance than air, gentle power, healing weight. 6 minutes in, she feels it. A small release under her fingertips. Maybe 2 degrees, but it's real. The body remembers what the mind forgot. Sophia falls asleep in the water after 18 minutes. Complete relaxation. It's never happened in daytime therapy. Naomi keeps going 8 more minutes. 26 total. Longer than planned. She loses track of time. Lifts Sophia out carefully at 12:04 a.m. Dries her. The child doesn't wake. By 12:10 a.m., Sophia's tucked in, breathing softly. Naomi leaves the pool at 12:12 a.m. Her heart is steady now. She's already thinking about tomorrow night. On the 43rd night, Naomi Turner stopped asking permission and started committing a crime of mercy. 3 sessions that first week, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday nights, between 11:38 and 12:15. She builds rhythm, pattern, precision. She's done this before. 60 children in Jamaica, 5 with the same condition. 3 walked again. Aquatic neuromuscular repatterning, her grandmother's gift, passed through 4 generations of healers by lamplight, moonlight, whatever light they had. Naomi works by city light now. Pool lights off, too risky. The Manhattan glow is enough. She works by touch, by instinct. Temperature always 94 degrees. Colder, muscles seize. Warmer, therapy fails. Her grandmother's rule: water must become invisible to the body. Entry protocol: lower the child slowly. 6 inches every 10 seconds. Maintain eye contact. Let them see your face. Fear tightens. Trust releases. Floating position. Face up. Arms 45 degrees. Not the therapy angle, the healing one. Breathing synchronized. In 2-3, out 2-3. Whispered. Gentle. Control the breath, control the body. Only when relaxation is total does the real work begin. Micro movements. Hip rotations. 5-degree increments. Hold 8 seconds. Release. Wait. Water does most of the work. 12 times more resistance than air. Every tiny motion becomes an invisible exercise. The child never knows she's healing. Sophia improves fast. 3 sessions. Hip shifts from 15 degrees inward to 13. 6 sessions, 10 degrees. 9 sessions, 5. Left ankle shows progress. Hope, tiny but growing, flickers in Naomi's chest. She doesn't smile, not yet. Miracles, she knows, must stay quiet until they're undeniable. Dorsiflexion improving. Once 82 degrees, now 79. Pain meds reduced, from 3 doses daily to 2. For the first time in months, Sophia sleeps through the night. Before, she'd wake 4-6 times from pain. Now she sleeps from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. straight. A quiet miracle that no one dares to question. Charles notices at breakfast. Sophia looks different, looser somehow. Her face softer, the grimace gone. Margaret catches his eye across the table, her smile small but real. "Children have good periods and bad," she murmurs. "Let's just hope this lasts." Neither of them knows what's happening in the quiet hours before dawn. Naomi treats Olivia next. Week 9 begins. Alternating nights. Sophia on Sundays and Thursdays. Olivia on Tuesdays and Fridays. Olivia's case is worse. Knees locked at 95 degrees. Core strength, 0. She can't hold a sitting position for even a heartbeat. Naomi uses the same method. Slow, steady, patient. No shortcuts. No magic. By week 10, Olivia holds herself upright for 8 full seconds. Knee contraction down to 78 degrees. 18 degrees better. Both twins laugh more now. Margaret remarks it first. Their moods, something's changed. Charles doesn't know what to say. The doctors haven't changed medication or therapy. Dr. Moore's reports show nothing new, but something, unseen, has shifted. Tuesday morning, week 10. Charles passes the twins' room, stops dead. Sophia is gripping the crib rail, arms trembling, legs pushing, trying to bear her weight. She lasts 6 seconds before collapsing, but those 6 seconds, she was standing. Charles calls Dr. Williams immediately. Emergency consult, Thursday. Dr. Williams examines both girls for 2 long hours, measures angles, checks muscles, studies MRI scans. When she finally sits with Charles, her expression is unreadable. "This is unprecedented," she says softly. "The crystallization has slowed. Sophia's hips are nearly neutral. Olivia's core strength, unbelievable. This shouldn't be possible." They review every protocol. No changes, same exercises, same schedule. Dr. Moore's notes, routine. Yet the results don't lie. "Something changed in the last 8-10 weeks, she murmurs. Charles freezes. That's exactly when Naomi started nights. But how? She's a nanny, not a therapist, not even in the room during therapy hours. He pushes away the thought, but it sticks. That night, unable to sleep, he opens his laptop. The house's security system. Thomas showed him once after Victoria's death. He's never used it since. Couldn't bear to. Now at 11:54 p.m., he stands in the kitchen making tea. Through the glass wall, he sees movement. On the rooftop deck, near the pool. Shadows against city light. An adult figure with a child. He checks his watch. 11:58 p.m., calls Thomas. "Who's authorized for pool access?" "No one, sir," Thomas mumbles, half asleep. "Per your instruction. Locked since Mrs. Anderson's accident." "Check the cameras." Silence, then typing. "Sir, 3-second gap when the cameras rotate. Someone who knew timing could delete footage." 5 minutes later, Charles is in the security room. Thomas cues the files. "What date?" 3 weeks ago. Late nights. The footage flickers alive. Grainy, muted. Pool lights off. 11:43 p.m., Naomi walks into view, carrying a child. Sophia. The screen glows faintly as Charles leans closer. Fast forward. Another night, then another. Same hour, same ritual. For 26 minutes each session, Naomi performs hydrotherapy. Precise, deliberate, trained. Not a nanny's routine, a healer's. Charles watches 3 full sessions, silent, his knuckles white. Each movement exact, each whisper tender. Sophia's legs move underwater, muscles that had been frozen for years. His throat tightens. One call to the police and Naomi goes to prison. One call and the healing stops. One call and his daughters return to pain. He doesn't dial. Instead, he whispers, "Tomorrow night, I'll be there." Sunday, 11:38 p.m. Naomi arrives carrying Olivia. The pool lights are on this time. She steps in, freezes. He's waiting, arms crossed. "How long?" he asks quietly. She stays silent. 3 weeks, he answers himself. 3 times weekly at first. 4 now. Footage shows everything. Still silence. "I could call police. You've broken laws, trespassed, practiced medicine without a license." Naomi finally speaks. "Your daughters were dying. I couldn't watch." "You couldn't watch? You're the nanny." He stops, looks at Olivia, sleeping peacefully in Naomi's arms. "Who are you?" Her eyes glisten. "Nobody." He steps closer. "Nobody doesn't know therapy techniques. Nobody doesn't bypass locks. Nobody doesn't make my daughters better when 500,000 specialists couldn't." Naomi exhales. "I used to run a clinic. Jamaica Healing Waters Therapy Center, Montego Bay." "Used to?" "They took my license." "Why?" "August 14th, 2008, she whispers. "I was treating a 6-year-old boy, cerebral palsy. His name was Timothy Williams. My daughter was nearby, 8 years old. A wave came, too strong. The children had to choose, let him go or trust the adults. I held him. He lived. My daughter didn't." Silence. Only the pool's soft ripple. "His parents filed complaint," she continues. "Said I was reckless. The board agreed. License revoked. Clinic closed. My husband died 2 years later. Cancer. I came to America in 2011 with my granddaughter, the child of my lost daughter. The girl Timothy's parents helped raise, until they too died. Car accident, 2019. Charles sits heavily on the pool's edge. Naomi stares into the water. That's why I work nights. Easier than explaining why I still know how. He whispers, "Whatever you're doing, it's working." "I know," she says. "But your wife knew it first. That's why she died here." He stiffens. "How do you know about Victoria?" "I found her notes, labeled under physical therapy options. She was right. The doctors were wrong. She died proving it." Two broken parents, bound by guilt and loss. Silence hums between them. Finally, Charles says, "Show me." Naomi looks up. "Show you what?" "How to heal them. Teach me." Her voice softens. "Then start by earning their trust again. They don't believe in you anymore. You stopped watching. They felt it." Charles can't speak, only nods. Because every child Naomi heals in darkness is a prayer for the one she lost in daylight. And that night, Charles doesn't call the police. He calls it faith. Monday evening, 6 p.m. shift change. He asks quietly, "Naomi, stay." Private conversation. Margaret looks curious but says nothing, closing the study door behind her. Charles waits until she's gone, then exhales heavily. The weight in his voice surprises even him. "I need you to train me," he says. "Teach me what you're doing tonight." Naomi blinks. "Sir?" 11:30, pool. She hesitates. "You want to learn?" "My daughters trust you," he admits quietly. "They don't trust me. I stopped watching their sessions. I thought I couldn't handle their pain, but truth is, I stopped being their father. I want that back, and I want to understand what you're doing." That night, the rooftop pool hums softly beneath the city. Charles hasn't stepped out here since Victoria died, 18 months, and her fingerprints still ghost the glass door handles. He forces himself through. Water temperature, 94 degrees. Naomi checks it twice, showing him the thermometer. Body temperature exactly. Not 93, not 95, 94. The muscles can't tell the difference between their own warmth and the water. That's when they release. She demonstrates with Sophia, lowering her slowly, carefully. 6 inches every 10 seconds. Maintain eye contact. Show her she's safe. Fear is the enemy, Mr. Anderson. Fear tightens everything. Charles watches, every movement memorized. Naomi continues softly. Floating position first. Full relaxation before therapy begins. That's where Dr. Moore fails. He starts exercises too soon. Muscles still tense. That's why she screams. He asks, "How do you know when she's ready?" Her reply is almost a whisper. "Her breathing, when it matches yours. Watch." Naomi's voice slows, rhythmic, calm. In 2, 3, out 2, 3. Sophia's tiny chest rises and falls in time with hers, a fragile duet of trust. "Now," Naomi says, "you begin. Not with Dr. Moore's methods, they're too harsh. Only 5-degree increments. Hold 8 seconds. The water resists enough. You just guide." She places her hands gently on Sophia's hips, rotating almost imperceptibly. "Don't force. You invite." Charles tries. His hands tremble in the warm water, trembling not from cold, but memory. The last time he stood in this pool, his wife's body floated beneath the surface. Sophia feels it instantly. His fear. Her body tenses. "Breathe," Naomi whispers. "She feels everything you feel." He closes his eyes. In 2, 3, out 2, 3. Slowly, Sophia relaxes again. By midnight, tears stream silently down his face as he cradles his daughter, truly with her for the first time since Victoria died. "She was right," he whispers. "My wife. I called it pseudoscience. Told her to stop wasting time on internet research, to trust the specialists. And she died trying to prove me wrong." Naomi says nothing, just nods. The water glows faintly around them. From that night, they work together. Every evening, 11:30 p.m., The billionaire and the nanny. The white employer and the black woman once stripped of her title. Power doesn't vanish just because compassion enters the room, but something begins to shift. Charles learns Naomi treated 60 children back in Jamaica, using her grandmother's generational method. 73% success rate across 5 years. She'd worked nights even then, because her patients' parents worked days. The darkness, she explains, wasn't to hide. It was to serve those medicine ignored. Naomi learns that Charles isn't cruel, only broken. A man drowning in guilt, who believed money could buy healing until it couldn't save the one person he loved most. 10 days into their partnership, a letter arrives. Wednesday morning. Plain envelope. New York State Medical Board. Information received regarding unlicensed medical practice at your residence. Verify credentials of all care providers within 14 days. Charles reads it 3 times, then looks up. Margaret stands in the kitchen doorway, hands trembling. "You called them?" Her voice cracks. "I thought she was endangering the children. I watched Mrs. Anderson die in that pool. I thought..." "You thought wrong," Charles says quietly. "I'm sorry," Margaret whispers. "I didn't know she was helping, I swear." He wants anger, but only sorrow comes. Margaret had dragged Victoria's body from that same water. Of course she feared the pool. Of course she feared Naomi. "I understand," he says softly. "But understanding doesn't fix this." Problem 1, the medical board investigation. Problem 2, arrives that same afternoon. His lawyer calls. Emergency motion from Victoria's parents, demanding custody review. They've somehow obtained the letter. Margaret hadn't just called the board, she called them. Custody hearing moved up, from 6 weeks to 4, 28 days. Judge, Patricia Davis, known for strict medical enforcement. "Nighttime sessions will look bad," the lawyer warns. "No credentials, no documentation. The court will side with the grandparents. You need legitimacy fast." That evening, Charles calls Dr. Williams. "I need you to re-examine the twins, officially." She arrives next day, 2 hours with Sophia and Olivia. Afterwards, she sits in the study. "Remarkable progress," she admits. "But I'll need months to verify. Who's providing therapy?" Charles hesitates. "A specialist, licensed. It's complicated." Dr. Williams stands. "Then my answer is no. I won't risk my license on complicated, especially when it's happening in secret. Call me when you can give a straight answer." She leaves him alone, surrounded by the letter, the custody notice, and a ticking 28-day countdown. That night, the pool again. Sophia floats between them, peaceful, pain-free, a vision that mocks bureaucracy. Charles tells Naomi everything. The investigation, the lawyer, the risk. "You have to stop," he says. "We'll hire credentialed therapists. Make it legitimate." "And watch them deteriorate again," Naomi says quietly. He nods. "Probably, but at least I'll keep custody." Naomi looks down at Sophia's face. "Peaceful, isn't she?" He swallows. "I won't stop." "You'll lose custody." "Then I lose custody," he says, "but I'll lose it fighting, not surrendering." Naomi studies him for a long moment. "Finally," she says softly, "the billionaire chooses to be a father." Then, practical as ever, she asks, "What do you need?" He blinks. "What?" "To get me licensed, properly. What do you need?" He almost laughs. "Impossible. You'd need original Jamaican certification records, a petition through the medical board, and an American sponsor institution willing to vouch for reciprocal licensure." Naomi's gaze doesn't waver. "Then we start there." And for the first time in months, Charles smiles, a tired, uncertain smile that still dares to hope. Conducted unauthorized treatments at night in secret without supervision. Endangered his children. The grandparents' attorney's words hit like gunfire. The courtroom murmured. On the screen, the investigator displayed a letter from the medical board, Naomi's past glowing red in official ink. Another exhibit, a private investigator's report, time-stamped footage between 11:08 p.m. and 1:00 a.m., night after night. The silent glow of the pool on the screen made the whispers grow louder. Then the investigator took the stand. Miss Turner lost her license after an incident that resulted in a child's death, he said grimly. Her daughter. She concealed this from her employer and worked nights to avoid detection. The child welfare evaluator followed, her tone clipped. The father's obsession with curing rather than accepting raises serious concern. Secretive nighttime sessions are particularly troubling. These children need stability, not experimental treatments. Then, Robert Wilson, Victoria's father, took the stand. His white hair caught the light, his expensive suit immaculate, his voice trembling with age and guilt. "We love Charles," he said softly. "But since Victoria died, he's been obsessed, spent millions chasing impossible cures. These girls need professional care, not midnight miracles. We can provide that." Cross-examination revealed the truth behind their polished concern. A plan to institutionalize the twins in a specialized care facility, separated from their father, for their own good. The judge called a lunch recess, 11:30 to 1 Southern. Charles sat in the hallway beside Naomi, their hands intertwined in silence. Richard Miller leaned against the wall, steady. "We have the license. Columbia. Dr. Moore's testimony is ready. We're going to win this," he said quietly. 1 p.m. Defense began. Richard rose with poise and laid the foundation. "Miss Turner is now a fully licensed, credentialed practitioner in the state of New York," he began. "Authorized specifically for night therapeutic sessions when medically indicated." He held up documents, Columbia's sponsorship, Naomi's competency evaluations, letters from Jamaica, patient testimonials glowing with gratitude. Then Dr. Patricia Moore appeared on screen from Columbia, calm, commanding. "Miss Turner's techniques are clinically sound, evidence-based, and her results are extraordinary," she said. "In my 30 years, I've never seen such recovery in children deemed untreatable. I've reviewed 8 weeks of data, videos, and before and after analyses. These children moved from never walking to measurable mobility." She paused, then leaned forward toward the camera. "The nighttime sessions? That's when this therapy works best. Muscles relax before sleep. Treatment compounds overnight. This is not suspicious practice. This is innovative medicine. Miss Turner should be commended, not prosecuted." At 3:45 p.m., Charles took the stand. The opposing attorney attacked fast. "Why allow unlicensed treatment once you discovered it? Why not stop immediately?" Charles didn't flinch. "At first, I didn't know she was treating them. She did it while I was asleep," he said. "When I found out, I saw the data. I saw my daughters move. I had a choice. Follow rules or save my children." The attorney's eyes narrowed. "And what did you choose?" Charles's voice softened, firm as stone. "I chose them. I'll always choose them. Every doctor said it was impossible. They were wrong. My wife knew they were wrong. She died in that pool trying to prove it. Naomi finished what Victoria started. Those night sessions weren't secret. They were necessary." The grandparents' attorney shot up. "Mr. Anderson, you'll be asking this court to believe sneaking around at midnight conducting unsupervised procedures is appropriate parenting?" Charles turned to Judge Davis. "Your Honor," he said, his voice trembling with conviction, "I'm asking this court to believe that healing doesn't follow office hours, that expertise can come from unexpected places, that sometimes the answer is right in front of you, invisible only, because you're relooking at the wrong time, or the wrong person." 4 p.m. Naomi took the stand, hands shaking, navy blue dress modest and pressed. She looked exactly like what she was, a 61-year-old immigrant who had survived 3 decades of work, loss, and silence. "Why did you hide your background?" Richard asked gently. "Because I knew no one would believe me," she said, voice breaking. "A black woman, immigrant, lost her license, working nights as a nanny. Who listens to that person?" "You treated the children anyway?" "I watched them suffer," she said, "and I had knowledge that could help. I knew, from Jamaica, that warm water before sleep heals best. I couldn't walk past that." "You understood you risked criminal charges?" "Yes." "Then why take that risk? Why work at night?" Naomi hesitated, eyes glistening. "Because I couldn't save my own daughter in daylight, where everyone watched me fail. Maybe I could save his in darkness, where healing happens quietly." The room went still. Judge Davis leaned forward. "And the nighttime schedule, was that to hide what you were doing?" "No, Your Honor," Naomi said softly. "That's when the body responds. Warm water, relaxed muscles. It's medicine, not secrecy." At 5 p.m., the judge called a recess. Then, unexpectedly, requested to see the children. Sophia and Olivia were wheeled in, tiny, fragile, eyes bright. Judge Davis knelt before them. "Hello, girls. Can you tell me who takes care of you?" Sophia pointed immediately. "Miss Naomi." "And what does Miss Naomi do?" Olivia answered, voice clear. "Helps us swim at night. We're getting strong at night." "Does that scare you?" Sophia shook her head. "No. Water's warm. Dark is nice. We sleep good after. Can you show me how strong you're getting?" Sophia looked to Naomi for permission. Naomi nodded, eyes glistening. The little girl placed her hands on the wheelchair arms, pushed. Her legs trembled, then straightened. 6 full seconds. The courtroom froze. Robert Wilson sobbed. Helen covered her mouth. Charles wept silently. Sophia sat back down, smiling. "I'm going to walk soon. Miss Naomi promised." Judge Davis rose slowly, returned to the bench. She studied her notes for a long, unbearable minute, then finally spoke. "I've presided over family court 16 years, she said. "I've seen neglect, abuse, ignorance. This is not one of those cases." She looked at the grandparents. "Mr. and Mrs. Wilson, your love is evident, but you're asking me to remove these girls from a father who refused to give up, to institutionalize them when they're improving under his care. I won't do that." Her gaze shifted to Naomi. "Miss Turner, you took extraordinary risks. You broke rules, but you did so out of compassion and conviction. You had expertise unfairly taken from you. You saw suffering, and you healed it. And now you hold proper credentials under institutional oversight." She raised her gavel. "Custody remains with Charles Anderson. Ongoing oversight by Columbia University, monthly progress reports to this court, and continued psychological evaluation of the children." Then, with a faint smile, the kind that carries both judgment and grace, she added, "With one condition, Miss Turner must be promoted from nanny to official medical staff." The gavel struck. The sound was both ending and rebirth. "Medical professional must vouch for competency for at least 6 months, the legal advisor said flatly. "We have 4 weeks." Naomi's heart sank. "Not possible," he added. Charles smiled, the first real smile Naomi had ever seen on him. It wasn't mockery, it was quiet defiance. "I built a pharmaceutical company in 18 months with no medical degree," he said calmly. "You're telling me I can't license one physical therapist in 4 weeks?" He looked at Sophia, the child floating between them in the pool, the small miracle Naomi had pulled from despair. He looked at Naomi, the woman who had saved his daughter when medicine had failed. Then his gaze shifted to the water, the same water that had taken his wife but somehow gave him back his daughters. "Start with Jamaica," he said. His tone shifted from determination to command. I want board records, every page, names of everyone who testified against you." Naomi shook her head, almost in disbelief. "Then we find someone who understands healing doesn't stop at 5 o'clock." For the first time in 18 years, Naomi let herself hope. They had 4 weeks to do the impossible, or lose everything they'd built in silence. Every night Naomi had worked unseen. Charles moved fast. Monday, 6 a.m., call with his legal team. "Find me a medical licensing specialist, Jamaican attorney, contact every major rehabilitation department in New York. Deadline, noon." By 2 p.m., he had a plan. Step 1, get Naomi's original certification from Jamaica. He chartered a private jet and sent a 3-person team, 2 attorneys and a medical record specialist, to Montego Bay. They landed Monday night. By Tuesday morning, they were at the Caribbean Physical Therapy Association headquarters. The cost? $48,000 for 3 days. Charles didn't blink. They located Naomi's file, 284 pages. Original certification from 2001. Patient outcome reports from 2001 to 2008. Incident report, August 2008. Board hearing transcript. Then a key discovery. The vote to revoke her license had been 3-2, not unanimous. 2 board members had defended her, calling the incident an act of God. Naomi's clinical work had been exemplary. The revocation, they argued, was unjust. Those dissenting members, Dr. Sarah Johnson, retired, and Dr. Christopher Johnson, still practicing in Kingston. Both were found, interviewed, and recorded. Both agreed to testify that Naomi's license should never have been revoked. Dr. Sarah Johnson's voice trembled, but steady. "Naomi Turner was the best therapist I ever supervised. Her willingness to work nights wasn't deception, it was dedication. She served families who couldn't access care during regular hours. That's medicine at its finest." The team returned Thursday with everything. Step 2. Find an American institution to sponsor Naomi. Charles called Columbia University Medical Center. Dean of Rehabilitation Sciences, Dr. Patricia Moore. His pitch was surgical. "I am funding a $2 million endowed chair in pediatric aquatic therapy. I need an institutional sponsor for an international practitioner wrongly delicensed 18 years ago." Dr. Moore's reply was sharp. "We don't trade credentials for donations, Mr. Anderson." "Not asking you to trade," Charles countered. "Asking you to review. The case was adjudicated poorly. Look at the evidence. Make your own decision." He sent Naomi's complete file, patient data, dissenting opinions, 8 letters from former patients he tracked down himself, and a video of Sophia and Olivia's progress, time-stamped at 11:43 p.m. sessions. With the files came his letter. "Naomi works nights because that's when warm water therapy is most effective, before sleep and when working families can attend." Dr. Moore reviewed everything for 48 hours. Thursday morning, 8 a.m. Her call came through. "This woman should never have lost her license. Those night sessions, that's when aquatic therapy works best. Before sleep, when muscles relax. This is innovative medicine, not negligence." Her conditions. Naomi must undergo a 6-month competency evaluation. Formal supervision by Columbia faculty. Documentation of every treatment, especially nighttime sessions, for research. "Done," Charles said instantly. By 2 p.m., Columbia sent an official sponsorship letter to the New York Medical Board. Step 3. Get emergency approval. Charles's attorney filed an emergency petition for a temporary practice permit pending full licensure review, citing Naomi's expertise, the urgency of the children's welfare, and institutional backing from Columbia. But Wednesday, denial. Board chair. Dr. James Davis wrote, "Standard process exists for a reason. Night work without proper documentation is concerning." Charles's attorney fired back, "Standard process takes 6 months. These children have a custody hearing in 21 days. If therapy stops, they regress. Is the board's process more important than patient outcomes?" Thursday, 4:15 p.m. Dr. Davis called back. "We've received Columbia's letter. Given the institutional sponsorship and the emergency circumstances, we're issuing a provisional practice permit, valid for 90 days. Authorized for standard and non-standard hours, including overnight therapy. 4:18 p.m., Thursday, November 6th. Naomi Turner was legally authorized to practice aquatic therapy in New York State. At 4:24 p.m., Charles called. "You're licensed as of 6 minutes ago. You can work nights, legally, professionally." Silence. Then soft sobs. Naomi was crying. Friday morning, she underwent Columbia's evaluation. 6 hours of observation. That night, 11:40 p.m., evaluators returned to watch her night session with Sophia. They saw her move in silence and light, precise, intuitive, maternal. At 12:30 a.m., the head evaluator said quietly, "She's better than half our faculty, and night work, brilliant. Warm water before sleep maximizes healing." The official report read, "Competent to practice without restriction. Night protocols evidence-based and effective." Saturday, Charles's attorney prepared the case file, provisional permit, Columbia sponsorship, Dr. Moore's testimony offer, twins' progress reports, and Naomi's competency certification. Monday morning, Manhattan Family Court, 9:30 a.m. Judge Patricia Davis presided. Black robe, stern expression, known for strict enforcement. Charles Anderson sat beside his attorney. Across the room, Victoria's parents, Robert and Helen Wilson, flanked by their lawyer, a child welfare evaluator, and a private investigator. The grandparents' attorney rose first. "Your Honor," he began, "Mr. Anderson employed an unlicensed medical practitioner," and the air in the courtroom went still. Proper salary, benefits, professional title. If she's providing medical care, she should be compensated and respected as a medical professional. Judge pauses, then adds with weight, "And if treatment works best at night, then night work is not negligence. It's necessity." The permit specifically authorizes overnight therapeutic sessions as clinically indicated. Bang! Gavel down. Courtroom explodes in emotion. Charles sobbing uncontrollably, Naomi crying in disbelief. Grandparents stunned into silence. Dr. Moore smiling proudly on the video screen. Outside the courthouse, 5:30 p.m., Naomi, trembling, asks Charles, "What just happened?" Charles laughs through tears. Justice. For once. The same judge who built a career on rules looked at a child and rewrote them, even the ones about working after dark. Week 15. Naomi's new office overlooks a rooftop pool shimmering in sunset light. The guest room is now a clinical space, spotless and sacred. Medical equipment gleams, documentation system digital and efficient, therapy table professional. Title on door, Director of Aquatic Rehabilitation. Anderson family payroll. Salary, $92,000 yearly. Health insurance covering Destiny's asthma. Retirement plan. Professional development fund. The pool, renovated, $85,000 worth of improvements. Depth markers precise. Safety rails gleaming. Temperature controls modernized. Adjustable lighting for night sessions. Schedule formalized, documented, reviewed monthly by Columbia University. Sophia, 11 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. Olivia, 12:45 a.m. to 2:15 a.m. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. Charles joins 3 nights each week. He's learning, not just therapy, but patience, rhythm, fatherhood. He stays up until 1 a.m. therapy nights. He's present. "You're getting strong, Sophia," he says softly one night. "Like your dad?" She grins. "Like Miss Naomi, you mean?" Week 16. Evaluation by Columbia. Dr. Moore herself reviews progress. Sophia, hip neutral 0 dig, bearing weight for 15 seconds, taking assisted steps with a walker. Olivia, knee contraction down to 62 dig from 95 dig, sitting unsupported for 45 seconds, reaching movements fluid, pain medication discontinued entirely. Both twins sleep through the night now, peaceful, unbroken rest. Dr. Moore's report, continued improvement exceeding clinical expectations, night treatment protocols proving highly effective, recommend expansion to broader patient population. Month 3. Charles to Naomi. How many children like mine? Naomi. In New York, hundreds. Across the country, thousands. Most can't afford specialists, and almost no one offers night therapy. They established the Healing Waters Foundation, named after Naomi's Jamaica clinic. Mission: provide aquatic therapy for children with neuromuscular conditions, regardless of ability to pay. Unique feature: 24-hour therapy access, night sessions for working families. Initial funding, $5 million. Charles converts a Brooklyn warehouse into 3 therapy pools, training center, and dedicated night therapy wing. Naomi's role: clinical director. Opening date, 8 months out. Month 4, Victoria's parents visit. The conversation: painful, raw, healing. Helen whispers, "We're sorry. We were scared. We didn't understand about night sessions." Charles replies, "You wanted to protect them. I understand. You didn't know Victoria was trying." Helen: "She was. She wanted them safe. You wanted them healed. You were right. Victoria was right. She tried this before she died. We didn't listen." Robert: "Can we start over? Be part of their lives again?" They establish a visitation schedule, Sundays. Helen volunteers at Healing Waters. She learns the protocols, becomes an advocate. Robert funds a scholarship for low-income families. Helen says, "Victoria always said healing doesn't follow office hours." Month 5. Rockaway Beach. Bright sun. Naomi steps into the ocean. Daylight, for the first time since August 14, 2008. Destiny, now 8, splashes near the shallows. Naomi wades deeper, knees then waist. The water sparkles, and suddenly she's crying. "Grandma, why are you crying?" Destiny asks. "Because I can touch water and sun again." "It's just water." "No, baby, it's everything. I lost your mother in daylight. I found those twins in darkness. Now I can have both." She tells Destiny a gentle version of her mother's story: the choice, the price, the purpose. Destiny asks, "You saved that boy like you saved the twins?" Naomi smiles. "I try to save somebody every day. Morning or night doesn't matter. It's what she would have wanted." Month 6. Thanksgiving. Anderson Penthouse. Long table, warm light, laughter. Everyone's there. Charles, Sophia, Olivia, Naomi, Destiny, Helen, Robert, Margaret, Thomas Brown, Columbia team. Sophia stands, gripping her walker. "I just want to say thank you," she whispers. The room stills. "Miss Nomi didn't give up. She helped me even at night, so I didn't give up." She takes 3 shaky steps toward Naomi. Real, steady, miraculous steps. The room erupts, applause, tears, standing ovation. Naomi catches her, whispering, "You were never broken, baby. You just needed someone to believe, day or night." Olivia grins from her wheelchair. "And water at night is nice." Future unfolds. Healing Waters Foundation admits its first 12 children. 3 families specifically request night sessions. Working parents, shift workers, people who never had access before. Naomi trains 4 new therapists in night therapy protocols. Columbia publishes findings: nocturnal aquatic therapy, clinical outcomes in pediatric neuromuscular rehabilitation. The medical world pays attention. Charles steps down as CEO to focus on the foundation full-time. The twins' prognosis: walking independently within 18 to 24 months. Naomi receives her full U.S. license, now officially authorized for night therapeutic care. Media headlines: Revolutionary night therapy program redefines pediatric medicine. Immediate payoff: twins saved from paralysis. Medium term: Naomi's reputation restored, night work legitimized. Long term: foundation helps hundreds, training a new generation of night shift healers. Naomi heals from trauma. Charles learns to be present. Family rebuilt from grief. Daylight and darkness finally coexist. Legacy. They all lost something to water, and found something in it too. Some in daylight, some in darkness, all in healing. 18 months later, Brooklyn facility. Early evening, 6 p.m. Naomi in the pool with a 5-year-old boy with cerebral palsy. His mother watches, crying. Behind them, Charles with Sophia and Olivia, walking. Sophia tells the mother, "Miss Naomi helped us. She works at night too. That's when it helped most." Mother whispers, "You mean night sessions?" Naomi smiles. "Healing doesn't punch a clock. We're open 24 hours. The mother breaks down in tears. Relief, gratitude, hope. Naomi remembers that first night, 11:43 p.m., hands shaking, breaking into a pool, terrified. 18 years of running from water, from herself. Turns out she wasn't running away. She was finding her way back. These children taught her, nothing's broken. Some just need someone who'll get in the water when everyone else stays dry. Someone who'll work at midnight if that's when it matters. How many children are waiting for someone who won't give up, who won't wait for morning? Sophia walks now. Olivia runs. 12 more children gaining strength, 3 of them at night. And somewhere in Jamaica, Naomi's grandmother's legacy lives. A healing tradition that crossed oceans, survived tragedy, and returned home to light. Water remembers, even when we forget. Sometimes the most powerful medicine isn't expensive. It's faith, persistence, refusing to look away. Naomi works both shifts now, daylight and darkness. She's not hiding anymore. She's healing. Around the clock. She got in the water when no one else would. At night, in darkness, when it mattered most. That's not magic. That's courage. Healing doesn't need permission from time. If this story reminded you that expertise can live in unexpected people and unexpected hours, a like and subscribe help us bring more stories like this to life. And if someone you know needs to hear that impossible is just an opinion, share this with them. This is Fate Tales, where every shadow hides a spark. Because sometimes the night saves the day.